All right, well, you can see I just replaced the fire bricks in the floor of my fireplace insert. This is, I think the brand is Quadra-Fire. It's got a little logo on it over there. This won't matter. This is so similar with so many other inserts. These fire bricks, I picked up these on Amazon. They're pretty cheap if you can get them on Amazon. If you got to go to your local stove shop, you're going to get basically the same quality. They have two different materials that they're made out of. The cheapest ones are a lighter, like physically does not weigh as much. It's like a not as dense a brick. I haven't found that there's any difference really in quality between the two. The denser ones, you're gonna pay a little bit more for. They might last a little bit longer, but these things don't last forever anyhow. So how to replace all these bricks, it's real simple, guys. Don't be intimidated by this. Cutting this stuff cuts easier than lumber. Drilling it drills just as easy as lumber. So don't be intimidated. I'm gonna show you the regular tools that I use out in the shop that you probably have too. So when I replace these, you go around and you pull the ones on the wall, and they're just sitting in here. I mean, you tip it out on the bottom and pull it out. So I pulled out all the ones off the wall. Some of them I was able to reuse. You can see there's a new brick back there. Most of them are reused. So I get all the wall ones out, stack those up nicely on the side here, and then the bottom ones were really bad. These were crumbling and everything. So you just pay attention to what you're taking out. Most of them were full bricks, but there were some that I had to cut. So like that one, and these two, I had to cut the corners off of these. So I saved the old ones, which again, were crumbling away to nothing, and I sort of use them as a pattern. So be gentle when you're taking them out, and just like this one here, you know, I took it out and it came out in 3 or 4 pieces. I sort of piece it back together as a puzzle piece, lay those puzzle pieces on top of a brand new brick, and then took a marker and marked it, used it as a pattern. And then, so let me show you what we're gonna use to cut out in the shop. So I marked up what I needed, took a couple of dimensions, measurements, and then I went out to the shop, cut them, of course, brought them back here and pieced them all back in. Let's go out to the shop and I'll show you the tools. Well, first and foremost, the probably most important tool you're going to need here, or a critical tool, is a shop vac, because you're going to generate a lot of dust. There's going to be little bits of dust that accumulate in all the cracks. So the very first thing you do when you open this up, if it ain't been used all season or whatever, if you got a mess in there, take your shop vac, make sure you got a good filter on it because you're blowing dust out through the house. Take your shop vac, suck out all the dust and dirt out of the crevices. Pull your wall bricks down, go ahead and suck out all the dust and dirt again, and then remove the bottom bricks. And once you get everything out and you've patterned in, you've marked your new bricks, go ahead and suck all the dust out of the bottom, and so that way everything fits back in real nice and tidy. Okay, so here we are out in the shop, and that is the only tool that I needed today because I didn't drill any holes. It's an old skill saw. I actually picked this one up at a yard or an auction for like $2. It came with a bunch of other junk, and I just kept it around for stuff like this. The most important thing is almost all of them anymore have these carbide tips. So this is an old, you can see this is an old wore out blade. In fact, I think some of the carbide tips are missing on this blade. If it's got a carbide tip, it's going to cut through just about anything that you want to cut through. So I just laid the brick up here just to get it up off my workbench so I wasn't cutting into the workbench. Laid it on a couple of 2x4s, and wherever I needed to cut it, just cut it. And it's just that simple. It makes a tremendous amount of dust, so beware of that. But I mean, here's the all falls from those corner pieces I cut off. This stuff cuts, I'm not joking, this stuff cuts easier than 2x4s does. So to cut it with just a regular old circular saw is no problem at all. Works great. I mean, you can see where, I kind of burn it because I was, not as straight as I could have been, but heck, I'm worse than that with a piece of wood. So, so that's what you do if you got to make a straight cut. If you have to drill a hole like I did on those back pieces, I replaced those at the end of last season, and I'm not going to do it this year. Regular drill, you don't need a hammer drill, and I always, if you get these kits, they come with about 50 different bits that you'll never use. So these are masonry bits. I'll take advantage of these, and you just chuck one of these up in a drill bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you how easy this stuff is to drill. A masonry bit, or even just a regular bit. If you had one that you didn't, maybe it was already a little bit dull. I keep old dull drill bits. I never throw nothing away. So old dull drill bit would be perfect for this. Just a regular wood drill would work. I'm gonna show you, matter of fact, let's just use an old wood drill. So we would mark the piece. That's a brand new one. Let me find an old one. Yeah, that was a burned up one, I think. So we would mark the piece in the wood stove. Say we needed to, cut this out. So we need to drill a hole in this. Well, I don't have any big hole saws. If you had a hole saw you didn't mind sacrificing, that'd be one thing. Say you needed to cut a hole pretty big. I hope you do a better job tracing your holes than that. That's a pretty big hole. There's my thumb for comparison. So if you got a hole saw, sacrificial hole saw, that's fine. If not, we're gonna take and I'm gonna chuck it up and I'm gonna show you how easy it is. We're gonna drill a whole bunch of holes all around this circle, and we want them to be pretty close. We're gonna drill a whole bunch of holes, then we're gonna take a punch or just a hammer, whatever we got handy, and chip out and sort of knock this plug out then. You gotta be careful when you're doing this. If you don't do a good job, you could crack the brick all the way across. That does happen. Here we go, regular old Ryobi drill. Ryobi's cheap as you can get. And I know a lot of guys think they're junk, but regular old Ryobi drill, no hammer drill. This is that worn out little 3/16 bit. It's, made for steel, wood, aluminum, whatever. Just a regular drill bit. We're gonna drill a whole bunch of holes. See how that's drilling? Let it clean out. Just like if you're drilling a piece of wood. I'm all the way through this. So I've already drilled all the way through this. I mean, that's how fast this goes. Let me go ahead and do the rest of these. Okay, I hope you do a better job following your outline than I did on this one. I guess that's not too bad, but my circle sure wasn't a circle. So those are all drilled all the way through. Now the next thing, this is where we could potentially crack this thing, but we want to get a tool, a hammer, and a punch. So whatever you got laying around, something with a point. You guys see that? We're excavating a little crater in there. Let's go ahead and flip it over and do the same thing on the back side. I'm trying not to just pound on this thing because we don't want to crack it. There, we're breaking through already. We're making some serious progress here. Okay, so now, depending on how pretty you need this thing to be, that might do you. That might be good enough right there. If that ain't, and you need it to be cleaner, or you just want it to be prettier for whatever reason, I don't know if you've got to have the inside of your box looking pretty, you can take regular old file. This is from Harbor Freight. Regular old files will file this stuff. Well, let me show you that too. Tap the file every now and again, clean it out. Okay, so now this is an ugly hole. It's out around. I'm doing this quick just for demonstration. But now you can see that even those ugly jagged edges that we had on there, they clean right up. So that's as pretty as I'm gonna make a hole ever in one of these fire bricks. But that just shows you guys how easy it is to work with this stuff. So don't be intimidated. You know, you need a hammer, some kind of tool, a punch, any old punch, file, circular saw. If you got this sort of stuff out in the shed, you can tackle this project. If you don't feel comfortable doing this sort of thing, you don't have the right tools, you don't feel comfortable doing this to a fire that's going to be in your house, if you don't feel like, that's safe, call the stove shop. By all means, those guys are professionals. They carry liability insurance for this sort of reason. But if you do feel competent and comfortable doing this sort of stuff, it's not that hard. Let's go back inside. I'll show you what it looks like to put this stuff back in. So that's it. We cut them. I came back in. Of course, there were no bricks in here. Laid the bottom in first. Put my puzzle pieces back together. It's pretty basic. Again, I only had to cut 4 of these. The rest of them were full-size bricks. Did the bottom first, and then tuck the new ones in. You tuck the top in, and then just slide the bottom in. And there's nothing holds them in there. There's no fasteners. It's just gravity holds all these bricks in here. So I hope I helped you with this one, guys. If I did, click that thumbs up button. You want to see more videos of me working on all kinds of stuff, click subscribe. Till the next time, keep on tinkering.